was a dramatic day in court for Hannah Freeman, a former fourth-grade teacher sentenced for stalking her ex-boyfriend 33 times in just 19 days. But calling it dramatic barely does it justice. This was the moment when the police chief's daughter realized that family connections would not shield her from real consequences. The case that brought Hannah into that courtroom.
Please, can we help you?
My ex-girlfriend continues to stalk me and park her car next to wherever I am and follow me home every night.
Began with a desperate 911 call. What makes this case even more disturbing is who Hannah Freeman really was. Hannah Freeman wasn't just any teacher. She was the daughter of North Ridgeville's chief of police, and she believed that connection would shield her from consequences. This is the story of how privilege, obsession, and entitlement collided inside a courtroom, and the shocking meltdown that followed when reality finally caught up with a woman who thought she was above the law. I'm bringing you this case on criminal women. If cases like this interest you, subscribe now, because I publish 2 new cases every week. Hannah Freeman was 27 years old, held a master's degree, and worked as a 4th-grade teacher in North Ridgeville, Ohio. On paper, she appeared perfect, educated, professional, and trusted to work with children. But Hannah had a secret weapon she had relied on her entire life. Her father, Michael Freeman, was the chief of police in North Ridgeville. In 2022, Hannah was arrested for disorderly conduct following noise complaints. When police confronted her, her response revealed everything. "My dad is Michael Freeman. I'll give you my ID. What's the issue?" She told multiple neighbors the exact same thing, that she wouldn't get in trouble because her father was the police chief. This wasn't just privilege. This was someone who genuinely believed the rules didn't apply to her. That 2022 incident should have been a wake-up call. Instead, it became confirmation that her connections would protect her. When she met her future victim in early 2024, that mindset escalated into something far more serious. Hannah met David, a middle school teacher at Lee Burnison Middle School in Westlake, Ohio. Both were education professionals with clean reputations. On the surface, they looked like a perfect match. But by April 2024, David had reached his breaking point. The relationship was over. He told Hannah it was finished and believed they both needed to move on. Hannah Freeman had a very different interpretation of what over meant. What followed would last for months, deeply traumatize David, and eventually put Hannah in handcuffs. When David thought the relationship ended in April, Hannah was just getting started. She began showing up at his workplace without warning, parking in the school lot and watching. According to police GPS tracking data, Hannah Freeman visited David's school 33 times across 19 different days within a 30-day period. Sometimes, she made multiple trips in a single day. This wasn't coincidence. It was deliberate, systematic surveillance. But Hannah wasn't satisfied with just watching. According to David's testimony, she followed him home every single night. Imagine being stalked for months, your ex appearing at your workplace 33 times and trailing you home day after day. On November 6, 2024, her behavior escalated into criminal conduct. Hannah had planned to spend the night at David's apartment, but he told her not to come. The relationship was over. Hannah showed up anyway and discovered another woman there. That discovery sent her into a rage. Instead of leaving, she broke into David's unlocked car and deliberately stole items. 2 backpacks containing laptops, his wallet, his car keys, and prescription medications. This wasn't emotional or impulsive. It was calculated. Hannah took things David needed every day, forcing him to contact her. After months of stalking, David finally called for help on November 7th. When asked how long this had been happening, his answer was devastating: about a month. A full month of daily stalking before he felt able to call police. The very next day, Hannah showed up at his school again. David called 911 for a second time. This time, officers responded and found exactly what he described: Hannah sitting in her car, watching and waiting. The body camera footage captured her mindset when police confronted her. When asked about being inside David's vehicle, Hannah claimed they had gone to get dinner together, reframing the theft as a consensual interaction. There was no shock, no denial, just a casual dismissal of what had happened. Throughout the arrest, Hannah showed no genuine remorse and no surprise. This wasn't someone who made a mistake. This was someone who got caught. While Hannah was being arrested outside, David explained the full scope of her behavior to police. David revealed even deeper violations. She kind of knew passwords to my accounts and stuff. She's been messing with my accounts. Hannah had been using stolen information to access David's personal accounts. The credit card charges were all from Amazon. She was shopping with David's stolen money while actively stalking him. Initially, Hannah was charged with 5 felonies: stalking, burglary, 2 counts of aggravated theft, identity fraud, and drug theft. These were serious charges, each carrying the possibility of prison time. But by June 2025, something remarkable happened. Those 5 felony charges were reduced to just 3 misdemeanors: disorderly conduct, obstructing official business, and possessing criminal tools. How does someone facing overwhelming evidence negotiate felony charges down to misdemeanors? The answer lies in privilege, legal maneuvering, and a system that often treats female perpetrators as people who need help rather than punishment. Hannah's attorney, Michael Kinlan, relied heavily on minimization tactics. He argued that the relationship didn't actually end in April, but continued until November 6th, the day of the theft. Most audaciously, Kinlan claimed Hannah had been invited to David's school 33 times to help with classwork. A middle school teacher needing help with classwork 33 times in 19 days from an elementary school teacher. The defense also framed the theft as Hannah briefly taking David's book bag for about 3 minutes after discovering another woman. But the evidence showed something very different: systematic theft of laptops, a wallet, car keys, and prescription medication. On sentencing day, Hannah delivered what appeared to be a carefully rehearsed statement, reading directly from her notes. Notice the language used that night, as if months of stalking were being reframed as a single evening's mistake. The statement was short, generic, and completely lacking any real remorse or acknowledgement of David's suffering. Legal experts later described it as formulaic and dismissive, the kind of statement someone gives when they're just checking a box and expecting immediate forgiveness. Judge David Tasha had heard enough. Hannah's reaction was immediate and shocking, screaming and crying as reality finally hit someone who had expected privilege to protect her forever. Her attorney immediately tried to do damage control. At this point, you're going to make a motion to withdraw the plea and rather trial. Judge Tasha wasn't having it. You don't like the sentence? No, because we don't like the way the court has interpreted the facts. When the attorney complained about how the court interpreted the facts, Judge Tasha delivered a devastating response. Hannah Freeman was then escorted to jail, crying and shrieking, the sound of someone experiencing real consequences for the first time. Criminal defense attorney Diane Manasci later identified multiple failures in the defense strategy, but the attorney's failure was only one part of the story. Hannah had been shielded by several layers of privilege: her father's position as police chief, her status as a teacher, and common gender stereotypes surrounding female perpetrators. This case shows how institutional privilege can delay accountability until the evidence becomes undeniable and a judge refuses to play along. Hannah Freeman fits the profile of an entitled stalker, someone who believes the victim belongs to them regardless of the victim's wishes. The helping with classwork explanation is a classic example of stalker reframing, turning criminal behavior into supposed acts of care. In Hannah's mind, she wasn't stalking, she was helping. The escalation to theft reflects abandonment rage. When emotional manipulation failed, Hannah moved to crimes designed to force contact. The systematic nature of her actions points to calculation, not impulse. Her complete meltdown at sentencing revealed someone who truly believed privilege would protect her indefinitely. David's month-long delay in calling police highlights the unique challenges male victims face when stalked by women, especially male teachers. There's a stigma around reporting an ex-girlfriend, a fear of not being taken seriously. Comments on the viral video echoed that reality. Men often avoid calling police because they expect to be laughed at. The fact that David finally called 911 shows just how desperate the situation had become. The case sparked broader conversations about how society views intimate partner violence when traditional gender roles are reversed. Hannah served 7 days in jail, but the consequences went far beyond incarceration. She permanently lost her teaching career and now faces 18 months of GPS monitoring, house arrest, and mandatory mental health counseling. Her attorney suffered reputational damage following the courtroom failure. David finally received legal protection through no-contact orders and GPS monitoring. This case also ignited discussions around privilege protection, recognition of male victims, and institutional accountability when family members of officials commit crimes. Hannah Freeman's case represents both a system failure and a system success. Failure to prevent escalation fueled by privilege, but success in delivering accountability once a judge drew the line. The public response showed a clear hunger for stories where privilege eventually runs out and justice prevails. But it also exposed how many warning signs were ignored before consequences arrived. The viral attention forced serious conversations about male victims, female perpetrators, and institutional privilege, topics rarely explored in mainstream coverage. If you want in-depth analysis of cases like this, examining both the crimes and the cultural reaction, subscribe to the Criminal Women channel. Hannah Freeman walked into court expecting privilege to protect her and walked out in handcuffs, finally learning that actions have consequences. For David, this case was validation that his fear was real and that speaking up may have saved his life. The ultimate lesson is clear. Recognizing entitled stalker behavior early and responding with immediate consequences can prevent escalation that traumatizes victims and destroys lives. Hannah is now serving her sentence under court supervision. Whether she truly understands what she did wrong or simply understands that she got caught remains to be seen. In the next video, I'll be covering another case where professional privilege collides with criminal behavior. Subscribe now and let me know which part of Hannah's case disturbed you most: the stalking, the privilege protection, or the courtroom meltdown.